We need to approach the crisis of insulin affordability as if the lives of Minnesotans hang in the balance, because that is the truth. Every day, Minnesotans with diabetes are in a fight for their life to afford the insulin they need to survive. Senator Wiklund and I have been working on this issue now for more than a year, and it is time for action. Over the last 30 days, a working group has been meeting, and since that time, we've learned another Minnesotan has lost their life rationing their insulin. On a nearly daily basis, we see tweets and Facebook posts from folks with diabetes pleading for someone to help them. They're down to their last drop of insulin and they need support. Just this morning, I received an email from an emergency room nurse who says on a regular basis she treats patients for DKA, and when she talks with them about why they're there, it's because they can't afford their insulin. This is a crisis, and we need to forge ahead urgently to reach a solution. And the good news is the meetings that we have been having over the last month, they show us a path forward. There are good ideas in the House DFL proposal. There are good ideas in the Senate GOP proposal. We really should be able to merge these two ideas and pass a strong bill on insulin affordability. That said, the pace of the conversation in those closed-door meetings are not moving fast enough. And we're not capturing the voices of Minnesotans who are most impacted by this on a daily basis. And meanwhile, Minnesotans are waiting and waiting and waiting, and they literally can't afford to wait any longer. That's why that we agree with Governor Walz that we should hold public hearings and include the voices of Minnesotans with diabetes and work urgently to get this done. And also to move the ball forward, on Friday, Democrats did present a framework to the Senate. We believe it's a reasonable compromise that blends the two proposals and meets the four objectives that we all set out on that working group and agreed to, which were we need an emergency access program. We need a long-term insulin affordability program. We need insulin manufacturers to pay for this program, and we need to do this as quickly as we can. You know, our proposal would make sure that Minnesotans in crisis could enter their pharmacy and secure a supply of insulin that day. But we would also ensure that a navigator follows up with that patient and connects them to long-term resources. We would insist that insulin manufacturers pay for this program, and as soon as we pass a bill, that's when we can start setting things up. I mean, I think that's the biggest impediment to setting something up quickly is legislative action. So from our perspective, this solution is staring us right in the face, and it's time to call the question in front of Minnesotans, where do you stand? If Senate Republicans have problems with this approach, what are they? Let's work together, have the discussion, do it earnestly and urgently because the clock is ticking. So at this last meeting, Republicans requested time to review the proposal, and it's our hope that we would hear back very soon from the Senate Republicans, and we can continue to meet and talk, to negotiate, to hear from the public, to work to get this done because lives are on the line. And lastly, I just want to thank the Minnesotans with diabetes that continue to raise their voice and push for action. It's those Minnesotans that have driven us to this point. Closed-door meetings haven't amongst legislators. It's the voices of Minnesotans. And that's why it's so important that we open up our public process, hear from Minnesotans with diabetes. I truly believe it's their voices, their stories, and their pushing us to take action that will ultimately get us across the finish line.
Minnesotans with diabetes, their families have been fighting tirelessly to ensure that everyone has access to emergency insulin. We've made progress in addressing the insulin crisis over the last month, but I agree with Governor Walz. It's time for a public hearing where we can hear from experts, from advocates, and Minnesotans most directly impacted on the two proposals. A public hearing will provide transparency and help us move forward in the most productive manner. This can't wait any longer. Together, we can find a solution that includes ideas from the House and the Senate, as well as advocates, and that includes DFLers and Republicans alike. I feel we've made progress over the past month with our discussions, and it's been productive in getting a better understanding of what needs we're trying to address. But now I think we need to move to bringing possible solutions forward for public feedback and to develop these possible solutions into a bill that we can take action on.